forget, 5 guys from Gigantti last year in their winning squad from Contenders went on to Overwatch League. Davin is the sole guy left. This is his redemption arc that we keep on speaking about. It's time for him to step up and remind us why he was such a dominant player last year and why this team can now lead into victory.
Speaking of Davin, like you said, he's tasted that victory before. He's been a Contenders final. He's won a Contenders season. There's just one speed bump in the road for him right now. It's Eagle Gaming. And Sam talked about it a little bit about Eagle Gaming's record on this map. It's actually 2-1. They only lost to CIS Hope in one of the closest series of the season. And, well, they 2-0'd the other 2 times. So what more can you ask for from a dominant 5-0 team?
It's just, like I say, really strange coming into this, because looking at the 2 teams, you would never imagine this was first place versus 4th place from another group. But at the end of the day, standings don't matter. The teams are here. The only thing that matters is the outcome at the end of this series. We had a very close series yesterday between CIS Hope and Orcus and Hungary. I get the feeling this one is going to go exactly the same way.
Gigantti opting to go into the quad tank immediately, try and shut down the pick-off potential from Flippy on that Widowmaker. And already, they've gained that control of the point. We saw a lot of this from CIS Hope yesterday. Gigantti are replicating it. They want Eagle Gaming to aggress onto them.
A lot of Gigantti's win condition today is going to be trying to keep Flippy quiet. If they can prevent any big pickoffs, they can take a 5 versus 6, and already Hip gets picked off by nil.
Removing Zenyatta from the field. Nico, he's dancing around, 79 HP, has to back out. Cannot contest with the beefy squad of Team Gigantti on that point, and they get the first cap.
I think you're going to find this, and this is why we see a lot of Sombra and Tracer playing together, is that double flank potential just makes the threat of the Tracer and of the Sombra, which he's now switched over to, so dangerous to these tank kind of setups. Flippy going over here, I like this, because a few teams we've spoken about recently, we always say that adaptation is their biggest concern. Straight away, Flippy realised the Widow, just as good as he isn't working, he's going to switch straight away, and now they're going to try and make things happen, but Gigantti are going for the roll.
The pure aggression from Gigantti, they use that Coalescence as the go button to dive straight into the back of the Eagle Gaming, and they wipe them out and decimate them, not letting them even touch that point.
This was a big winner yesterday. I think it was a British Hurricane against Young and Beautiful on one of the rounds on Ilios, was they essentially just kept on rotating things in and out with their ultimates. 2 ults per fight, they invested nothing more. And that was how they kept on winning fights consistently against Young and Beautiful. For Gigantti, if they can start doing this now, they can prevent this Eagle Gaming composition from really taking off before it gets to that critical mass stage where they've got a few ultimates on side.
It's going to be all on Flippy's EMP, 60% and climbing as Nico dives into the fray. He's got a lot of mobility around these tanks, but the fight is still contained onto the point and around the peripherals for Eagle Gaming. The Earth Shatter being dropped onto the surface, self-destruct going into the air, Davin finds a kill, RCK backs him up with a self-destruct onto Pipu, and the rest of Eagle Gaming have to retreat for the 4th time.
Getamaze narrowly dodging out of the hook there, and Gigantti, this is the team I think we all would have expected to see earlier on in Contenders, and it's not that they haven't looked good at points, it's just consistency has been their biggest problem, and of all days that you want to see consistency, today is the day. However, they're coming up against 4 ultimates on the Eagle Gaming side. They have got that EMP, they have got the aggressive trans, They can pull off a lot here to make this work, but Gigantti, they get a good pick.
Yeah, they hooked in Nox and chunked his HP. Getamaze follows up with the explosive bomb, and another explosive from Nico with the pulse bomb, finds out multiple members, then he uses the guns to take out Ripper as Pipu will finish off LH Cloudy, and Nico just has to get that D-Mech Diva, but finally at 99% Eagle Gaming get control. Is it a case of too little, too late?
What's very smart for Gigantti is they held on to every single ultimate there. As soon as they saw the first couple of members drop at the start of that fight, they thought, right guys, fight lost, no need to burn any resources here, let's hold on to it. Kind of surprised Nil has chosen to go to the Genji so late on, but I think this is more of a insurance pick for them if they need it later on. If things go a bit south, they've got that Genji blade to pull out and pop off if needs be. However, with the 3 they've got, this could be one nice fight for them.
Cloudy's escorting them through the interior, get a different angle onto the point, and already they've planted themselves firmly on it, forcing Eagle Gaming to aggress.
Oh, Flippy
already getting removed. Nico taking out Nil. They're sitting in a Transcendence for Eagle Gaming, should be able to keep him alive. Sound barrier being answered by Pipu, but he's caught up in a Graviton Surge, going to be whittled down. Davin going to be the one to remove him from the fight, and now Masa, he's going to be dancing around somewhere. Self-destruct hits the floor, no one to be found. RCK gets back in his mech, and he's fighting with Nox off on the side. He's going to get some reinforcements as Cloudy comes in, but there's Nico on the point. A hacked Reinhardt can't put up a shield, but he can still swing that hammer. They're going to get control of this point again. Overtime is in play, and it is rush, rush, rush for Eagle Gaming.
Bit too much of a rush though, mind you. They've lost so many members now. Nico is the sole holder of the point. He's no longer there. Gigantti showing up in the style we thought they would and giving Eagle Gaming a run for their money.
So they're leading Ilios 1-0. 100% charge to 50%. Fantastic start for the guys from Finland.
what I find really interesting is that the devs themselves said, like they pointed it out, and quite rightly so, Ruins was going to be the big map for Eagle Gaming coming into this. They could not have hoped for a better start, landing on that as their first map here, and it just does not play to their favour at all. Flippy does nothing on the Widow, and they have to switch immediately. Cloudy said to me during the week, our biggest question mark here is Flippy. If we can keep him busy, if we can keep him quiet, that is our win condition, and so far, you've already seen Flippy within the first 10% of a map switching off straight away. Going for the same strategy once again, though, Tracer and Sombra, and Nil is going to try and match him, so finally, we get that head-to-head of the Sombra versus Tracer that we saw a good few times yesterday.
And a lot of teams often say it's not about the head-to-head necessarily, it's about how well you can adapt to what the other team's doing. So interesting to see what comes out after this first engagement. They're playing around the health pack on the side. Nox, a little bit trapped on the side. They're using the bubbles to block out the choke and the finite area of damage they can get out. But still, Team Gigantti, they've got the positional advantage on the point, and they're going to cause that aggression to be put on by Eagle Gaming to get anywhere near it. Davin off to the sides on the Tracer. He's getting a little bit of damage in, 70%. So close to that pulse bomb already. He's going to let his tanks tank it up in the front line. Eagle Gaming, they're trying to contest and not give up control so early, but they're starting to flail a little bit. 96% on that pulse bomb. You see the coalescence being traded across the board to try and sustain and damage simultaneously. Davin's got that pulse bomb available. Diva's demeched. Should be someone easy to pick up, but it's Ripper who finds it with the coalescence. He's onto the back line. Doesn't want to use that pulse bomb just yet because they've got control of the point.
Really good dancing around by Davin there. Very much so ignored by Eagle Gaming for the most part because there was just so much attention being drawn away by the rest of his team. We've spoken a lot about Davin in the first week, and we saw his team really step up and provide and show that they are also incredibly competent players. And it's shown today because in this 6v6 head-to-head, they are taking ground away from Eagle Gaming and forcing them back and making sure that these fights happen on their terms. Double EMP.
EMP is being traded. Sound barriers come out afterwards. The Lucio's doing well, but Nico removes Master before he can connect it. So that's Team Gigantti with no sound barrier and no shields on them. But here's Nico dancing around the fight. He's found Davin. He's now no longer hacked. Just should be able to run away. RCK diving onto Flippy. Can't find that burst combo to take out anyone. And now he's isolated with supports. Although Davin is trying to support them, but the longer he stays on this point, the more ult charge, more point charge he's going to be getting for Team Gigantti. Coalescences being traded. Nox nearly falling to his death. Going to use the jumpers to get himself back up. Here's a Primal Rage from LH Cloudy. Going to batter the supports, try and shut down these line of sight angles to heal with the Coalescence. Flippy taking out Davin. And now Nico, he's on the hunt for something else as the monkeys are dueling in the interior. In this chaos, Eagle Gaming get control of the point. And they're sitting on a lot of ultimates for the counter-attack from Gigantti.
Good fights and good play coming out of Flippy, to be fair. There were question marks around him in previous weeks as to whether or not Widowmaker was his big go-to trump card. Well, Sombra's coming up in spades today for him so far. Very scrappy and back and forth between the two teams, and to be fair to Gigantti, they got back on the point at the final second there and managed to eke themselves out an extra 20% on the ticker. That could be the big difference towards the end of this round. So far, like I say, very close between both teams. Nothing huge separating them. Small margins, you might say, and EMPs are definitely going to change that.
That's not a small margin at all. That's a big margin for a winning fight, assuming that Eagle Gaming can follow up on it, and that's exactly what they're doing. Team Gigantti, they're being pushed out. This is very reminiscent. The tables have turned from Ruins now that Eagle Gaming have a foothold on Ilios.
Still behind ever so slightly in their percentage capture so far. And I think you have to draw some attention around the Tracers as well. You look at Nico, he doesn't really scream to you, Tracer player. Not one of the guys that you think of when you think of these big Tracer players across Europe, but so far he's doing pretty well matching up against Davin. When Davin's given room, he looks a bit better, but in these head-to-heads, Nico is definitely putting him under pressure.
EMP to kick off the fight. This time it's from Team Gigantti. You can already see Hip using the Coalescence, being answered by Ripper. Already two members of Gigantti down. Cloudy going to fall to his death. Whether it's by choice or it was a forced error remains to be seen, but Gigantti are going to have to reset regardless.
Both support ults being popped by Eagle Gaming. Gigantti used two of their own as well, the EMP and the Coalescence coming out. Doesn't really give them much in return. So I almost think they should have gone for what they went for last round when they lost the point, was basically just stockpile ultimates and go for your one big play to win the point back and close the round out. Eagle Gaming looking pretty much in the hot seat here to take this round away and force us to that third point of Ilios.
They're going to be playing around the well. Use the recall to get himself up. Nox getting the Goomba Stomp onto Ripper.
Oh, nice boot.
He's getting the boop on Cloudy, so he's off the map and he's going to be dying straight to that. Davin sitting on a pulse bomb with no team in play and 5% left on the ticker. This is looking like, well, is going to be Eagle Gaming's map. Gigantti, they might be able to stagger it out if they can do this correctly, but with only Davin and RCK on the point, it's looking unlikely. Pulse bomb into the middle. Hack on the Davin. He's going nowhere as he's gunned down by Pipu. And now with Team Gigantti missing two of their crucial members, it's all about the stall. Boop onto Nox. No jumpers to save you this time, my friend. You're going straight down the well. The rest of Eagle Gaming on the counter attack. That's LH Cloudy running low on HP for his Primal Rage. Another boot, but no environmental kill to be found. The Coalescence from long range, cutting off this finite angle, and no one touches the point. So Eagle Gaming tie Ilios, and we're going to the third round.
That was really unfortunate because the Coalescence literally came off about half a second before they lost that round, so that would have been the big push point for them, where potentially they could have fought back and contested it, but not to be the case. And like you say, going to Lighthouse as the final one. Interesting to see if they're going to stick with what we've seen previously, or if Gigantti say, look, we are losing this head-to-head between the Tracer and Sombra. Let's go back to what worked so well for us in round one and run that quad tank once again.
Sticking on Nil on that Sombra, I can imagine him still playing this at the moment on this particular map. Give a lot of avenues, especially if you can get that translocator through the chimney hole and do a little bit of a Santa Claus, except your gift is a giant EMP locking everyone down for a tanky, beefy unit to run in and clean them up.
Yeah, Sombra on her own, though, with a triple tank isn't really the best pick that you can go for. Tank comps can do their thing without needing that EMP to really make the big play, so Tracer generally with that big burst is what you look towards. What you lack is that sudden burst damage with the triple tank. But already, Gigantti doing what they did last time round, forcing their way onto the point, taking ground away from Eagle Gaming and forcing them to come towards them.
That's exactly what they're going to do with 7 seconds until it unlocks. Flippy doing a little bit of work around the fringes, getting those health packs hacked. Nil gets a DMEC onto Get a Maze. They're missing a tank against a tanky composition. Flippy still on the outside. RCK gets the micro missile kills onto Nox, so they haven't really got any tanks to help them push this in. Flippy going to retreat back to his health pack, but that's Team Gigantti getting the foothold to kick things off.
Flippy at least manages to trade out the mech, but RCK just goes to the reset there. That's an interesting pick, but I guess with the fight being won, he felt comfortable doing that. And they can hold at the very least as well. They've nearly got both supports ultimates online. Eagle Gaming won't really be quick enough to get back to the point, but you're looking towards Nico and this Tyre in the next fight to make a big impact from behind.
And Flippy's got the EMP to combo with it, so it's going to be lethal for Team Gigantti if they condense themselves together. They're looking for the combination. Riptide going in, EMP not being used yet. There it is, the combo's there. Double kill. Nil and Cloudy getting run over by the Tyre. RCK and Ripper, they're there to level the playing field, keep this a 4v4. Gigantti still have control of the point. Eagle Gaming struggling to find a foothold. 25 HP on Nico, he's low, and the boosters will do it all by themselves. Team Gigantti getting to 50%. They're halfway to the victory on this map.
Eagle Gaming almost had it, but Hip dying before he could bring out the trans was the big cost to fall them there. If he had that on side, that was a push into the point, nobody dies, and they managed to go for the full clear. Nil is now going to trade himself off, though, and go towards that Genji. Once again, we saw this happen on the first round. They're going for the late round insurance in case Eagle Gaming managed to fight their way back and recapture this point.
Insurance is preparing for the worst, and I don't think Gigantti want to be doing that. You've got to plan through it sometimes. Get amazed. On the side, he's got that self-destructive run in. There's the Graviton Surge holding them all up. He's spotted it. He's going to hold himself up. Nox is getting shredded by himself as the self-destruct. Was hoping to capitalize on it, but just a little bit too late. Here's an Earth Shatter. He's going to be able to find Nox, who's off by himself. Primal Ray still in effect. Oh, Davin's going for a long ride down as the boop will send him off. Flippy taking out Nil, and the rest of Eagle Gaming going to retake the point at around about 90%.
Well, we're always talking about that insurance pick. They've gone for the Genji. Nil's currently sat on about 65%. You're looking at him to make a big play on towards Nico and bring down the supports. If he does that, that is their win condition, because otherwise, look at their ult bank. It's pretty empty except for the sound barrier, so I expect them to snap those two together and just force the Genji with that extra shielding on top to make sure that he can't get burst out by the Junkrat.
Yeah, it's looking a little bit glim, and they're looking a little bit impoverished in terms of ult economy. But Davin, he's a moneymaker. He can get that ult quick on the Tracer. EMP, is this also a self-destruct available, but the kills have started to come in for Gigantti. Equalized nicely by Eagle Gaming. Self-destruct in the middle of the fray. Nil's going to have to hide, but Nico takes him out after dashing through Get a Maze, so there's a little bit of a trade there. Ripper taking out Flippy. Master's the only one on the point. Gigantti got plenty of time to play with his Davin. Actually comes in with the support on Tracer to take out Nox. It's just Nico alive. This is a retake for Team Gigantti.
Almost. Well, they have got a couple of reinforcements coming in to try and support the point here. There's only a couple of them around. Out comes the sound barrier from Masar.
And now they're going to wait until Eagle Gaming start filtering in, but with 3% left on the clock, it's looking very glim for them. What an amazing turnaround from Team Gigantti at the bottom of the 9th. And the overtime begins to tick down. Nox being forced out by Davin. That's an unusual combination, but it's happening regardless. He gets gunned down from behind with the help of RCK, sitting on a pulse bomb, ready for the rest of Eagle Gaming to filter through this choke, as Team Gigantti aren't letting them get in. Zoning pulse bomb on the floor. Pip out, gets taken out in a drive-by. Someone's on the point, it's Flippy. He's out of stealth, it doesn't last forever. 99% goes down. Team Gigantti lead the series 1-0.
Looks like you picked the right shirt today, Tridd. Gigantti looking pretty impressive, but admittedly they had to fall back onto what we've seen a few teams do and resort to the quad tank to try and pull things back in the dying moments of a round. So trying to mix things up and going head-to-head for Eagle Gaming didn't really pay off for them, but going back to that tried and tested quad tank in Europe, it pays off.
Yeah, they were using it a lot to open. You notice they did it on Ruins, they did it on Lighthouse, but they always went back to that insurance Genji when they wanted that little bit of late game sustainability, as you pointed out.
We call it insurance, but to be honest with you, he burnt the blade and killed no one and got basically melted by Nico, which was what I was afraid of. And they needed the sound barrier. It was still 14% away, so I think a misplay there, but they won the point, so who cares at the end of the day, right?
Regardless of the fact, Team Gigantti leading the series 1-0. We're going to a break. When we come back, we'll bring you map number 2 of this series. Welcome back to Overwatch Contenders Europe. My name's Tridd. This is Dez. We're about to jump into map number 2 of Eagle Gaming versus Team Gigantti. The winner of this goes to the semi-finals at LAN. The loser going home for this season of Contenders.
But we're only just getting started, only one map in, and of course, Gigantti taking that first one away may have caught some people by surprise, but of course, this is a marathon rather than a sprint, it feels like in this case. And for Eagle Gaming, we've seen what they can do previously. They've gone 3-2, they've gone 3-1, multiple times. They can pull these things back. For Gigantti, consistency has always been the question we've had around them. Now is the time to show they've got it, and they can win more than one map.
Of course, we're going to be jumping into map number 2, which will be a hybrid map. We don't know what it is just yet. That'll come up on your screen shortly. But looking at the records of the teams, Numbani is not a surprise that Eagle Gaming would have picked this because they have a 50-50 record on it. 1 loss, 1 win. But Gigantti yet to win on Numbani. Yeah,
and both teams have got a flawless record on Hollywood, so why take the risk? And in fact, Gigantti, with that very creative back behind the gate sweep that we've seen a couple of times with the quad tank, charging in, taking Cafe, you can understand why Eagle want to go to this one instead. Now, there's always question marks around Numbani as to whether or not you can take Widow in some situations on this. I don't expect to see that. This will be all about the Soldier, so I expect Flippy and Nil in both cases on the defense to take the Soldier. On the attack, bit of a different story. We see some teams mixing things up with things like the Pharah Mercy. Most of the time, though, it's full dive. You just plow your way in, you take the Mercy on the attack because Zenyatta can't get to the high ground, and you just hope for the best, essentially. You're looking for that big trigger to pull to be able to kill one of the supports or force everyone back down into the alleyway.
Team Gigantti will be on the defense first. Eagle Gaming coming out onto the offense. So they're going to set the benchmark for the rest of this map by obviously getting themselves sorted out. We've had some substitutions into the roster as well.
All three, Superblue, Leaf, and Lilbo coming in for this one. So, again, more of the secret coven of Eagle Gaming. We don't always know why they want to pick these things out, but clearly they're opting for that in this setup. So this says to me they've got a specific strategy they would like to run on Numbani against Gigantti. Gigantti, we spoke about that consistency. Now they've got to adapt all over again to essentially half a whole new team.
Leaf's in the roster.
No Doomfist.
That gives the possibility of a Doomfist.
No Doomfist.
We can believe, not necessarily guaranteed, but its potential is there.
We saw it once. It wasn't good. We're not going to see it. End of story.
Well, you're going to dream killer
dream
today. A man can dream, and that's what we're going to be looking for. Eagle Gaming.
I mean, I'm being rational here and saying we're not going to see it, and that's probably why you're backing Gigantti, right?
Yeah, maybe. Well, you want to be the rational one. I'll be irrational. But if Leaf plays Doomfist based on past experience, then this is a free map for Gigantti. So, who's the real dreamer here? Let's have a look at what the Gigantti are running. They're, of course, on the map already running triple tank with that Junkrat. Tried and tested for Gigantti. They like to run that triple tank with the explosive option. It's usually either with a Tracer or with the Junkrat for these guys.
Yeah, like I say, it's the attacking side is always an interesting mix-up. We've seen quad tank, which is what these guys look like they're going to go for, and we did say subbing these 3 guys in, that was when they could look to run something like this quad tank setup. Switching Super Pluki means they have 2 main tanks on their roster, they have 2 flex, and they can just go, go, go. Now let's see if they can make it work. Very few teams have managed to make it work, admittedly. Mosaic, the one team I remember, really kind of trying to stick it out on the defensive side. Didn't pay off massively for them, but Gigantti have got the triple tank and that Junkrat, they came prepared.
Exactly what I was going to say, Des. They are prepared for it. They're going to have that explosive damage into the tight combo, but get amazed. He was certainly prepared for where Nil was going to be. Runs him down immediately. It's on Team Gigantti without that main damage threat to push back Eagle Gaming, and they're doing a pretty good job of it so far.
I do like how, even though we always say that Eagle Gaming aren't readable, you know when they make this switch in, the reason they're doing it is because they want to opt towards the Quadra tank. Here they're going for a change though completely by the looks of things, so switching out to match them with the composition they've taken, going to go towards the Junkrat with Leaf picking that one up.
Obviously the disadvantage they're now at is the ult economy. Team Gigantti, they're in progress. Cloudy's already got that Earth Shatter. So they're going to be a little bit behind, but they can definitely build it up, get to the point where they need to, as Neil is about to come online with that Rip Tire.
That Tire can be everything to shut down the backline of this attack. If they can catch out Leaf and they're all grouped together like the word just said, it would have been great, but Getamaze will lose his mech.
He's using it defensively to keep himself alive so he can output that damage even further. Cloudy with that Flame Strike to get Getamaze outside of that mech. Obviously a combination with Nil. He's down on the front line. Coalescence is being traded. Earth Shatter available, waiting for the right time. Fatty Shatty not found because it was only Leaf that got knocked down, but Nil, he's able to capitalize off it. Davin taking out Super Pluke, and they're going to run them back into this defense as they're going to go for the environmental suicide to reset.
Well played by Gigantti and good way of handling the aggression. Eagle Gaming though, we speak about these tank-heavy lineups quite a lot. Essentially, you just keep on repeating until you get the ultimates online, stack them together, and that's when you can go for the big clear. So maybe looking towards a Nico Leaf combo here, I think, ideally with Super Pluke to follow up with the Earth Shatter if required, and Little Boat has almost got hold of that sound barrier, so they can make a big play with that and go for the aggressive push. Nil and Ripper will always be the targets in this case.
Master's going to have a sound barrier of his own to answer with, but here's the engagement. They're falling into the street like they did last time. Graviton Surge, hold him in place. Cloudy going to be swinging the hammer. Self-destruct is there. No one's gone down apart from Lilbo, so no sound barrier to protect them as Davin cutting through Leaf with an extremely high energy Zarya. They're on the aggression, and now we know that Eagle Gaming are going to have to try yet again.
Great hole coming out of them, and Davin's already got himself back to 50% of his ultimate charge off the back of one fight. So impressive stuff coming out there. And let's not forget yesterday, we saw CIS Hope pull off a good 3.5-minute hold against August and Hungry. It just all fell apart in the final fight, so you can't write teams off in this final aggression attempt for them, especially when you're looking at 5 ults coming online for Eagle Gaming, with Hip no doubt going to have his within the first few seconds of the fight.
1 minute 15 remaining for Eagle Gaming. Like you said, there's lots of ultimates available. They've got a 6-stack ready to go. Where is the counterattack from Team Gigantti? The Rip Tire coming in immediately. Sound barrier being deployed to keep everyone alive. Going onto the back line, takes out Hip, so he's not going to get that ultimate to be able to use in this fight. Cloudy now onto Nico, going into back line. He's got an Earth Shatter. He can cut off the retreat from Eagle Gaming if they go for the reset. But no, it was Super Fluke, so I got mixed up on which Reinhardt was which.
Well, look at the ultimates on both sides. You're about to get this critical mass we keep on speaking about. 5 ults apiece. The defensive one missing for Eagle Gaming, but no Tire for Nil. We've already seen what those tires can do. Getting away 1 or 2 key targets can completely ruin a fight. Here it comes now. Let's see who Leaf goes for.
Leaf's turn to get on the road, going straight into the back line, going to pivot back around. Neil taking the tire out, so that 10 seconds cut a little bit shorter. Now they're jumping onto the point. Graviton Surge, holding them all together. Counter grab, up in time for Team Gigantti. Shatter, blocked out by Ellis Cloudy. Self-destruct, finds 2. Neil and Davin have been removed. This is the window of opportunity for Eagle Gaming as the Coalescence are crossing the beams over the map. Ellis Cloudy with that shatter onto Nico, going to charge him in, might be able to get the kill, does with the damage, Super Flip going in, misses the window by that much, doesn't get the kill, but somehow Team Gigantti are turning this around, but Eagle Gaming are still keeping the pressure on. It's just Ripper and Ellis Cloudy to keep it alive as the reinforcements from Team Gigantti are starting to come in. They're keeping 1 foot on the ground, and Cloudy, he's getting low, been booped off. Nil finds Leaf, so they're missing a crucial damage element. Lilbo getting the kill onto Ellis Cloudy as Nil, peppering from the sides, the tanks are getting on the point to stall it out. Sound barrier been deployed from Eagle Gaming. Lilbo Gonna keep everyone juicy with the sound. Neil's got a Riptire. So it's perfect timing though, because the self-destruct went up in the air by Gigantti to take him out, and Superfluke disengages the tire. Coalescences being traded. RCK sending it up into the sky. They're going to have to get off the point. No one to be found. The rest of Eagle Gaming emerge from the interior. I think they've got control of this, and they're going to keep on fighting. Here's the Doomfist from Leaf. We did see it, Des. You were wrong as he jumps into the corner. Any assassinations to be coming from that? No, RCK takes him out, but Gigantti has answered onto Davin. Lilbo still on the point. And Team Gigantti are keeping this alive. Shatter on the Superfluke and Lilbo. No kills being followed up on yet, but Neil gets a D-Mech and a kill onto Lilbo. Nico dashing around the point. Massa nearly going to die. Where is the Coalescence to keep everyone alive? Yet again, Hip is burning it through this time. Sideswipe by the Flame Strike. Neil will get shut down. It's looking all pear-shaped for Team Gigantti as Eagle Gaming move us on to the next stage of this map.
Just like we said about CIS Hope earlier, about 10 minutes ago when this fight actually started, 3.5 minutes it took for that shell to crack. In this case, it took till overtime and then some to really make it work. But Eagle Gaming at least managed to persevere and get their way through. I did notice at one point in the middle of all of that, when Davin was on the Tracer, he was doing what we saw out of Shax yesterday, Tier 5 Shax, lol. But what we saw out of him was essentially the back line, 1v2 in the supports, keeping them very, very busy, and just making sure that they could not keep the rest of the team healed. That is how we saw Gigantti consistently winning those fights out, but eventually once that was kind of shut down, Eagle Gaming finally managed to get their footing on the point and win fights out quite consistently.
The Coalescence is guiding them through. Now the EMP is going to remove all shields. Self-destruct goes up into the air. Everyone's in cover, so they don't need to be worried about that. Sound barrier coming out from Lilbo. Everyone's now feeling the music, feeling the rhythm. They need to go ahead. Eagle Gaming trying to push around this corner. Superfluke finds the perfect angle with a big shatter onto multiple members of the Team Gigantti lineup. And Eagle Gaming are going to capitalize on that as Nico, he's at high charge and he's leading the team in.
More convincing out of Eagle Gaming than what we've seen from them so far. And, well, when you always think about these big Reinhardt players with the big shatters, you probably look towards the likes of Sharek from CIS Hope. That was the kind of stuff you want out of Superfluke. Haven't seen too much out of the guy because he's on the air quotes B roster of Eagle Gaming, that quad tank lineup we always speak about. But plays like that show you exactly why he's being flexed into the first team.
And a very quick and different story in the second phase of the map. Breezed through it into the third. Team Gigantti, 2 minutes 20 to burn as the Riptire is coming in. Earth Shatter available for Cloudy. Still riding forward, they're rolling on back, but they're using this to zone out Team Gigantti. They're giving up so much ground to keep it alive, and Nil still gets taken out by the tire. So they force Team Gigantti back. They're losing all advantage over the corner, and they're playing out of their spawn room while Eagle Gaming are walking this payload in.
Gigantti have got to show some composure here and really make this work. They've only got 2 ultimates to play with, almost another 2 coming online there from Mazar and David. Now's the time to make it work, or else this will be a very convincing win for Eagle.
Graviton Surge, here's the big bang combination as the self-destruct hits the floor. No one dies. Cloudy with a shatter finds Lilbo and hits both supports down. Huge from RCK to take out both supports and Superfluke as Gigantti is going to start losing his life. Backs out, gets the mech taken away from him. 1 minute 40 on the clock. Eagle Gaming are at the end of this map.
Then if a breathe enough, Gigantti can just reset and go, right guys, let's take stock. What ultimates have we got? Do we need to change anything out here to deal with what Eagle Gaming are throwing at us? The answer really is no. I think they've got all the components in place here to deal with Eagle. And thanks to that great first point hold, there is only 1 minute 20 left on the clock for Eagle Gaming to complete Numbani.
No odds up for Eagle Gaming at present. Leaf very close to getting that Riptire, so that's pretty much as good as in his pocket. Nico, he's sitting on full charge. He's going to be able to build one up of his own very quickly, assuming they don't get eaten or blocked by that shield from Superfluke. Where is the Riptire? It's coming from Neil first. Leaf can answer when he wants to, but they're backing out, knowing it's coming straight for them. Still manages to get through, finding Leaf, so they're not going to have that Riptire until next fight. Graviton Surge, nearly available. Davin getting shredded by Nico's damage, but they're retreating back and waiting for a full-man unit.
Always looking on these Junkrats to try and shut down either the enemy Junkrat or go for the Moira, because the healing coming out is what keeps that triple tank composition pushing in so consistently. But look now towards the ultimates on Eagle Gaming's side. They've taken a leaf, no pun intended, out of what Gigantti were doing and stockpiling those ults. They accept they are going to lose a few fights and they just want to throw everything at Team Gigantti when it matters most, which is in these final 30 seconds.
They've lost a few fights, but they can't lose that many more. 25 seconds has to be done in this one or the next. Nil taking out Leaf's tire, so that's a Riptire shut down immediately as they're fighting around the corner. You can see, at least Cloudy, he's right in the front, swing the hammer, there's the Earth Shatter, blocked out by Cloudy, it's going nowhere as Nil decimates Nico with the concussive bind, and Cloudy from behind with the Earth Shatter will knock Gigantti back onto his backside as he's going to send the self-destruct into the air. Davin removing Superfluke, No one found from the self-destruct.
Nil
Another
tire.
rip tire from Nil. Where's it coming? But this is so much zoning potential to get them away from the payload. Lilbo removed from the fight. He didn't have a sound barrier, but still missing out on the healing and the mobility. The rest of Team Gigantti are crushing Eagle Gaming and keeping them away from this payload as Nico on the Tracer. It's not enough for him. High charge to keep Super Pluke out, and Eagle Gaming have been shut down at the last hurdle on Numbani.
It's quite often we see teams actually get towards that final zone and sit a few meters away and then get held. But to get held on the first corner of the third point, that's relatively unrivaled for two teams that are playing at this kind of very close level. But you would say that about the first point as well. The fact it came down to 2 or 3 minutes into the overtime for them to actually win it out shows just how close these two teams are.
We'll get a true scale of the difference between these teams on the offense coming out from Team Gigantti. It's their time to see if they can match the distance of Eagle Gaming and go 2-0 in this series heading into the half. What a fantastic feeling that must be to go into the halftime 2-0 advantage against a team that's rated higher than you based on the seeding. You're not only doing yourself justice, you're doing the entirety of Group A justice if you win this one out.
It's a bit of belief and self-confidence, I think, from Gigantti. You know, Sam spoke to them during the week. I've had a chat with a couple of them, and they've just said, we are feeling more confident than ever coming into this one. We've prepared, we have scrimmed, we have done all we can to prepare for this, and they are leaving everything on the field, and that's all you can do when it comes to the knockout stages, like the semi-finals, like the quarterfinals that we're in now, and even in the grand finals. You want to walk away with no regrets. And with how they're playing so far, it definitely shows.
We'll get those overlays on the screen for you in a second. Obviously, it's going to be Team Gigantti on the blue side on their offense and Eagle Gaming on the red on that defense. Let's talk a little bit about Eagle Gaming. They're running the composition the Team Gigantti run, the triple tank with the Junkrat. Going to be trying to do the exact same thing. Will Gigantti run it into them, or will they try something different, Des?
I think they'll run exactly the same because, you know, why fix what ain't broken? They've just shown that they can make it work on the defense when they're matching them. There's no big reason to change it out unless you wanted to go for the full dive and try and take that high ground. But I think in the situation where you're maybe somewhat aware or predicting what Eagle Gaming are going to do here, that they're going to go for some tank-heavy composition, why else would they bring out this lineup? You know how to respond to it, and that is to match it like for like.
We'll already get him. He's trying to get some early ult charge with the micro missiles. Found himself 2%. Was it worth it? I don't know. He's safe enough to get back, so we'll leave it at that. Here's the rest of Team Gigantti. They're going straight up Main Street. They're not diddlying around by going through the interior. And already Neil's got some free high ground, and Lee sacrificed his to jump onto the point and play behind the shield. Tanks are going to be hitting each other in the head very shortly as Super Pluke being knocked up into the sky. Team Gigantti aren't able to get up into that street and the capture point position. They're being forced back, and the conceding ground as Gittamaze tries to take the high ground and keep Nil away from it. Protective barrier. Going to keep him alive so he can push up a little bit further. Here's the Coalescence. Nil removing hip, so he's not going to be able to get that Coalescence in time. RCK going for a skirmish with Gittamaze. They're both low, but no one's been demech just yet. Nil going to take out Super Pluke. Ripper with the Coalescence, getting the demech onto Gittamaze. Team Gigantti, they're on the point, and they've done it in a much faster fashion than Eagle Gaming could.
Much faster. They've done it in under a minute, clearing this out and managing to take it away. So already, that's a 3-minute advantage they'll be pushing forward with here. And the ultimates on side, they've still got Nil's Tire. They've got Cloudy's Shadow coming up soon. They're already building back towards the ultimates they had to expend to make this happen. So for them, that was the dream push, you might say, in some ways.
5 minutes 15 on the clock, a lot more time to play with. In fact, nearly 3 minutes higher than what Eagle Gaming could do. Here's the Coalescence, a Riptide coming around the back. Eagle Gaming, they may have lost the first point. They're not ready to give up the second just yet. When it's right outside the spawn room of Team Gigantti, it's not a great place to hold it because the spawn advantage will come into play.
It will, but it's a slower start at the very least. That spawn advantage, so they're just trying to make up for lost time here. If they can go for a full hold at least here, it means there's more time for that payload to have to push through. This is actually working out quite well for them so far. This is a big grab.
Gonna hold them up. They're blowing ultimates to kill as much time as they can. The charge through the lineup to knock them down and remove that shield. Cloudy, he's been taken out. They're forcing him back into their spawn room. So forget what I said about them not being advantageous in this position. They're still making it work.
Just going for the stall. Poor RCK, he knows what's coming as well. I think because he was maybe close to ult, he didn't want to give it away. And in fact, yeah, ultimate was online. So he was just like, no, thank you. I do not want to reset right here. Please kill me. And they were like, no, we pity you, poor human. You will stay right there. Still, 5 ultimates online for Gigantti. This will be the least ideal place because this is almost like fighting the first point all over again. This is a really weird place to be forcing fights for Eagle, but it's working.
But they blocked the Earth Shatter, apart from Davin and Master being knocked down. Graviton Surge pushes them all into the corner. RCK and Cloudy go straight ahead and try and capitalize on it. Like you said, there's the payload back at its original starting point. Leaf goes over the bridge to die immediately. Now Gigantti can get things rolling, but Eagle Gaming have burned about 1.5 minutes of their time.
Like I say, it's basically just just reset the whole thing again. And that was a really impressive hold, to be fair, from Eagle Gaming. They're walking away with almost 3 ultimates online for themselves, making that almost 4 actually as well, because Get Amazed respawning with his own. Now we're actually going to get Gigantti try and go for the push properly, because that stall was a mean stall, shall we say.
Let's erase that. We'll say they burnt a nice minute of nothing happening. We'll now see how fast Gigantti can do it when they finally get the payload in motion. Will they be able to match the speed of Eagle Gaming as a Riptire comes out? That's going to be moving pretty fast himself. Get Amazed, loses his mech. He's going to drop down the self-destruct early. Pistol kill onto Nil, so it doesn't matter. He doesn't need the mech to get things work. He's going to jumping straight into Reinhardt. Going up high, Riptire from Eagle Gaming is running around, but Davin with the high energy has shut it down. Earth Shatter knocking Get Amazed onto the floor. And Team Gigantti, they've got the momentum. They're going to keep hold of it as Leaf is just going to stagger this out for a fraction of a second.
They've had enough of this nonsense now. They want to get themselves towards that third point. They want to bring it out to 2-0. That's the dream going into the halftime break for this side who are down and out. But let's imagine how Eagle Gaming are feeling right now. You're coming in as 5-0. You're thinking, we're confident. We've beaten all these teams in Group B. But it draws question marks around what we said about Group A and Group B all along. We always said Group A contained the highest stacked teams, you might say, air quotes, and Eagle haven't been tested yet. It's definitely feeling this way against the team who finished 4th in Group A.
Graviton Surge, Coalescence is sustaining through it. Nil taking out Hip, so they're not going to be able to keep up and answer with one of their own. Cloudy with the charge go onto Super Fluke, and Ripper, he's going forward. He's got the damage. He doesn't want to heal. He doesn't need to heal. And now he's just going to spray quickly down to get Team Gigantti topped up for what could be their final push of this map.
Really smart charge back from Cloudy, catching Super Blue completely out of position there and removing that big tanky frontline in the Rhine. That core component of this triple comp setup is all about that Rhine. If he's not there, the team is going to get rolled over. And with 3.5 minutes to go, there really isn't too far for Gigantti to push. One fight, Tridd, that's all they need.
On that final corner, it's still being walked in. Eagle Gaming yet to commit. The sound barrier should be the opening. Leaf takes out
double support!
RCK, taking them both out with the self-destruct, and they're going to try and answer with their own. Will they have so much success? They only get Davin. Too many members from Eagle Gaming have been lost. It's all about the stagger. The charge back gets Get Amazed from the point. Can you believe it? Team Gigantti go into the half 2-0.
The redemption arc is in full effect. Davin does not want the dream to end here. They want this next season. I was going to say second season. It's more like 3rd or 4th at this point. They want the Contenders title either way. They want to get themselves to land, and they are showing us that they mean business today. Eagle Gaming, few question marks around them. They've tried both kind of rotations of their rosters. Neither have worked so far. They've got to get creative in the second half.
Absolutely. We're going to be moving on to, of course, you get the Assault map. So 2CP, that's a home ground, shall we say, of quad tank compositions. And, of course, potentially moving on to the Escort. But with map point on the line for Team Gigantti, they could end it right after the break. But we're going to go to that just first. And we're going to see that Assault, what was I going to say? Analyst panel rather than Assault. And then after that, we'll bring you map number 3.